All right. Welcome to our sixth podcast. Halloween is just around the corner. That's why Wayne and I are dressed up, which is awkward because you...
Veronica forgot her costume.
I have my costume.
I feel like it's a bit awkward.
I'm wearing it.
You're wearing it? Okay.
According to Wayne.
You're a princess. I like it.
Yes.
I like it.
All right.
So just kind of, I think we're going to touch on more of a fun episode and kind of just to see what's been happening with us. And then we have another guest coming on later today. Wayne, anything you wanted to touch on from that?
I mean, really, we're just going to get into, I guess, some personal experiences that we've had with buying and selling some real estate for our Halloween episode here. I mean, let's talk about any personal experiences you've had purchasing your own house that has been interesting, I guess.
Yeah, my experiences are not that like weird like yours, but I don't know. Like the first time that I bought a house, I bought it with my sister, and then I was not a realtor, obviously.
Yeah,
and then that's when I decided to become a realtor.
Oh, is that?
It was scary. Yeah,
yeah.
I had.
Oh, you bought it with your sister? That's always
I bought the first time with my sister. Yeah, so we lived there I lived there for 2 years before I moved with Prince. And she lived there for the 5 years. And then my other experience are obviously with Prince. But that was my first one. And really the realtor didn't give us like a guide or anything. So that was kind of scary.
Oh,
no Halloween scary, but kind of scary because we didn't know what we were going to go into it. So anyways.
So the realtor wasn't what you expected or was...
No. And then it was a pre-sale, right?
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah, mine was pre-sale too.
So she told us that our possession was one day, and you don't see your documents. You don't understand anything of your documents. So she told us our possession was going to be one day, and then we move everything. And then when we get to the pre-sale, the guy in charge told us, like, no, you're moving tomorrow. Today you cannot get in. I cannot give you the keys. I'm like, what? So finally he went and talked with everybody, and then they gave us possession. But it was like scary for us because we had the boss outside, like the truck with all our furniture, everything.
Oh wow!
And then we never heard back from a realtor ever.
Wow, that's crazy. So sometimes the realtors obviously don't do their due diligence, and then that kind of puts a sour taste in your mouth for that experience.
Not that made me be a realtor, but that's something that we should try to avoid, right? Because people go into buying a house knowing nothing, zero. You don't understand. So
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, in my situation, I didn't have any nightmare stories with my realtor at the time when we bought our first house.
Were you a realtor?
No, I was not. No. Well, my childhood home, my parents bought it when we were 7, and we moved again when I was like 20, 21, and I wasn't a realtor yet. I was still in school. But there was one house that we saw in particular where the location was perfect, upstairs was perfect, everything worked for the house, except when we went down the basement, it smelled like sewage. It reeked of like feces,
like that
and
bad?
We had no idea why. And we pressed the realtor; she couldn't give us any information on it. Yeah. And then we told them to ask the homeowners, like, we don't even notice it. We're like, okay, well, what are we gonna do? So we obviously moved on from that house. But I mean, like, I've never seen a house since then that the basement completely reeked of sewage, and we still to this day had no idea why.
Wow.
That the house stank so bad. So
something's coming in.
Yeah, it was only staying in the basement too.
Yeah, so I mean that's got to be some sewage backup or something.
Yeah. Something, yeah.
That is creepy.
Yeah, it's on city piping too. It's not septic or anything.
Gross. So. Yeah, so they gotta clean that out.
Yeah,
that's always nasty.
I love how Ryan is not moving. He's like going like this because he has his costume.
I'm a shark,
not
man.
Moving.
You can't move his neck.
I can't move my neck anymore. Watch out
for too tight around.
Watch out for troubled waters. What is it? Yeah, Jaws is a good movie. I don't have anything crazy from my first experience. I had a pre-sale as well, which was about over 20 years ago. Actually pretty smooth, but yeah, same thing. I didn't know a lot of the stuff. I wasn't quite a realtor yet. That was just before, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff I didn't know as well, and so it was a bit kind of freaky in the sense that you buy something that's not ready. I think in that case it was 2.5 years. The first place we bought was a pre-sale in Port Moody. So yeah, it was a bit nerve-wracking just because it's like, oh, you made a big purchase, but you can't physically see it. You're just buying it off a model, and so there's obviously that's tough, I think, for clients even now because stuff isn't always what you expect it, or there's delays, which our case, I think it was maybe a 5 or 6 month delay, which is pretty common. And, you know, it was good in the end of it, but it was nerve wracking just, you know, waiting and not knowing what the finished product's going to be, if it's going to be what you expected. So.
And you bought it with a realtor or directly with?
It was with the show home. So this was an Ani one too, and I had helped them out a little bit, Ani, just with some of the pre-sale stuff, and then this project with Suderbrook, which is still in Port Moody, came out, and we got a pretty, at that time, a pretty decent deal, and the floor plan stuff we wanted. But yeah, I still didn't know enough as far as like, even the construction side. I didn't know enough as I do today of, when stuff goes up or what causes the delays and all that. So, but it worked out.
But I think it's because as a new home buyer, you don't know nothing, right? So it's not even like you don't want to ask questions.
Yeah.
It's that you really don't even know what to ask.
Yeah, you don't know
right?
the questions to ask. And I find with the pre-sales too, like the reason I feel like it's good to go in with a realtor, not that there's anything wrong with those guys, but I dealt with Ani directly, and I know some of those guys, but it was, you're dealing with the developer's representative, not your own. So they're, they're representing the developer, so they're not always kind of making sure everything is good on your end, or double checking everything. Like they're not reviewing the disclosure statement with you, for example. So a lot of questions from that we didn't know. It would have probably been better to have a realtor. So that kind of stuff you learn as you go on. So yeah.
I mean, moving on, I guess. What is one of the?
Sorry, which minion are you?
I don't know my minions. One that holds a banana. So, I guess what is one of the most unique features you've seen in a house, and how did that affect the resale value of all the properties you've shown or seen?
Yeah.
So,
I've had some weird ones, like tying it into Halloween. Again, thanks for dressing up,
maybe
Veronica.
save that for the next.
You're
That's fine.
welcome.
Okay. Weird features.
Weird features.
Veronica, you had one.
I
right?
had one. We went to see a house in Tawasan.
Yeah.
Very old house. So the master bedroom had a bathtub in the middle of the bedroom with stairs going up to the top, but the stairs were covered in carpet, green carpet.
Oh, okay.
And then when we came out, my client says, like, did you see the door? I'm like, no. So the door had a lock from the outside.
To the bathroom?
What?
No, the bedroom. The bedroom door had a lock, like, from the outside.
This is the same house with the bathtub in the middle of it.
Oh, that's super creepy.
So the bathtub was weird, but then the lock was more weird. So I don't know, like it cannot be like something scary. It might be something really serious, but that really, like the bathtub and the lock, my clients were like, ooh.
Yeah, that's weird. Why do people have the bathtub in the middle of the room? Is kind of weird. I've seen that in
like very Hugh Hefner.
Yeah, like Vegas has some of those hotels that has like just like it's kind of weird, right? Well, I guess Vegas for different reasons.
Well, but a hotel.
But yeah,
Which hotels do you go?
Only the finest. Shout out Circus. No,
Like with
One
a
where people can
mirror
watch you
on
take
the
a bath.
ceiling.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, the mirror on the ceiling. Well, yeah, that is. Yeah,
That's
true.
for Valentine's.
Actually, the carpets in the bathroom, that was like a thing in
that was
this,
like
the
shag
70s.
carpeting
Yeah,
in
like
the
the
bathrooms
70s
is a thing.
homes. Most of that stuff has been like replaced now, but it's so gross when you think about it. Like
It's
a
so
carpet
gross, yeah.
in the bathroom makes no sense.
As a kid, I thought that was the greatest idea ever, right? I walk into, I guess, our friend's house, and then they had shag carpeting in the bathroom.
Oh my gosh.
But it was like, oh, this is so comfortable. It's like, my feet aren't cold.
Oh my gosh.
Right? But yeah, now
Now it's just like,
looking
oh
back,
my gosh.
it's nasty.
How much bacteria and stuff is in there? Oh my
Did
gosh.
you ask the realtor why there was a lock? Did you guys end up asking about?
No. I think my clients were like totally saying
yeah.
like, no, we don't want this house. Like,
Yeah, that would have done it, right? Oh my gosh.
because you don't want to go to a house that you have a bad vibe too. Also,
Right.
Like
Yeah.
people have a bad vibe, and then they say like, no, I don't want it.
Oh my gosh.
For myself, I don't have any stories that weird, but I mean, like one of the things being Asian that keeps coming up for my demographic is the fact that houses show up on T intersections.
Oh yeah.
T intersections are always a big deal
Yeah.
for Asian clients because they say it's like a road that it's like a knife that goes right into your heart, the heart of your house. So that's why they don't like it. They don't like having something run right through into that stops into your the middle of your house. So they don't like it. So there's nothing really you can do. There's a lot of the Asian demographic would not even touch houses that have are on T intersection, no matter how much they cost. But honestly, when I'm selling a house on T intersection, I usually tell clients that usually you have to look for maybe a slightly reduced expectations, maybe almost at 10%. It almost becomes as stigmatic as a grow-up house, you know, because you just lose almost an entire segment that won't even consider the house. You know, some clients I've had have even said I'd rather live across from a cemetery.
Right. I was gonna say
than a
yeah,
T
cemetery.
intersection. So
But it's all generations or the newer generation?
depends. It depends on how superstitious they are, right? How traditional they are and how much they upkeep their values that they've been instilled, right? And sometimes they bring their family along, and as soon as they bring their family along, it kills the entire deal. Like, oh no, grandma says no, we cannot buy this house because you know you move in, you're gonna die the next year or something like that.
Wow.
So yeah.
I find like the second or the next generation, as far as like the Asian buyers, not as big of a deal in some cases, because I've had a handful of cemetery ones, like, you know, in Burnaby, I've had a couple that like face over it, and it didn't really bother them. I mean, it's quiet, but you know, but it depends. Some of the older people obviously don't like that, but I've had some other ones that are like, you know what, it's quiet, and you know, it is a park. It's a nice view. Park with bodies.
Actually.
Yeah, it's unobstructed too, right?
Unobstructed,
Quiet park.
yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, I've heard other people tell me that there's ways to, I guess, counteract the effects of being across from a cemetery by putting up like stuff, right? Like talismans and stuff like that. And you know, if you have more sons, if you have sons like you, 2 sons, then you're good. If you have daughters, and stay away. Like I've heard.
Is that what it is?
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But here the cemeteries are flat. It's a park.
True.
Yeah.
If it's in Mexico, for example, the cemeteries in Mexico are like, wow, like
Yeah.
they have like their statues and their angels and their things.
But are they in the middle of like residential districts like they are here?
Not like, and they're always gated.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So you can go in,
Yeah.
but they always have like a big fence or a big wall surrounding the cemetery. But there are some that like you just visit because they're nice, right? There's a cemetery that all the matadores are like buried. So they have like statues with bulls. Like it's
like a fancy
impressive.
one.
Yeah.
I don't know. All that stuff. It's depressing. I just want to be. You guys can burn me, and then just throw my.
Why us?
Well, somebody
I mean, why even hassle? Why even go through the
Why
hassle?
do you go
Just throw you in a dumpster.
right?
He
Why
wouldn't know.
Yeah,
You wouldn't know.
exactly. You wouldn't know anyways.
Man. Mexico City, though, are they having the Day of the Dead soon? Because I got a couple friends
November
going.
2nd.
Oh, that would be good.
And it's a
big,
great
right?
thing.
Yeah.
It's a great thing if you ever can go.
I want to go.
for
I have
that.
a couple friends going.
The cemeteries are like, if you see Coco, the movie,
I watched
Yeah.
Coco. I was
It's
about
exactly
to say, I watched
like that.
Coco again. Yeah.
it's exactly like, it's really like that.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
really, it's amazing. People is in the cemeteries at night, having dinner, the special dinner that the dead person liked. It's like that.
Wow.
I
that's
actually
cool.
never knew what the Day of the Dead was until I watched Coco.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
and I'm like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it's like,
was a good one.
yeah.
well, we celebrate both, right? We celebrate Halloween because we're so close to the States, but it's like just for fun for the kids. But the big thing is November 2nd, which is the Day of the Dead.
Yeah,
And it's to remember
to remember
that person,
Yeah.
so that person never dies.
Yeah, but like Halloween's different, right?
Yeah.
Halloween's a pagan
Yeah.
ritual that
Yeah.
celebrates ghouls and ghosts and whatnot, right?
Yeah,
But-
no, we don't.
Right.
Yeah, it's very Catholic Mexico, so you have.
Yeah, I guess that. Yeah, I have a couple of friends that are going to be there this November for that. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they say.
Depending on the town too. Like,
Okay. Yeah,
Their
I don't
towns
know
are-
what part, but they're both going to Mexico City.
Yeah.
Nice. What else are we going to chat about?
This is the segue that you're looking for. This the strangest
Strangest
experience you've had
Yeah,
doing
you-
an open house.
Okay,
with
I've had a
showings.
couple of weird
Yeah,
ones.
I know.
A couple of weird ones. Okay, so
Veronica
like,
hasn't heard these. But
yeah, so I had one years ago, and it was Vancouver house with those low ceiling basements. You know, like the 6 feet, maybe like 5.5 feet.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I could barely stand up in it, kind of thing. And the lady wrote the same, and I think it was in Vietnamese, but the lady wrote the same word in like a red pen on a piece of paper, but taped it everywhere. Taped it on the ceiling, the side walls, the bathroom, the floor. It was everywhere. And I don't know what it meant. I still don't know what it means to this day, but it was so creepy because you walk in, it's just like the same word everywhere, like red rum or whatever. But it's just like everywhere on the walls. It was insane. And then I asked the owners, and like, we don't know. Like, it's just, apparently it's supposed to be something like positive, I guess. But I was like, why would you write it obsessively so many times?
Yeah.
Right. So that creeped me out. And of course, every time I'm
The
showing,
same thing.
it was the same. It was the same word, but it was in. I'm pretty sure it was in Vietnamese, but it was the same word, like written, and it was just everywhere on like on the ceiling.
Written in red too, right?
Written in red too. So I hated going down there. It was like creeped me out. It totally creeped me out. And then I had one recently, which this one too. This kind of thing has happened to me a couple of times, but the most recent one, it was, I'm not going to say where the house is because it's more recent, but the clock radio came on kind of randomly, and it wasn't plugged in, so that was a bit creepy. And the person had actually passed away, not in the house, but had passed away a few months prior. So I looked, and it wasn't one that has the battery.
That was my first question.
Oh my God. And you were by yourself?
I was by myself. So I was like, okay, maybe it's just like a power surge, but I'm like, it's pretty random.
Yeah.
Wow. And then I went there other times and plugged it in, and it worked fine. But this was actually like the cord was out of the wall. So I'm chalk it up to whatever, but that was a bit creepy. I was like, oh, I'm about to.
I think Ryan was hitting the bottle early.
It could have been. It could have been.
Too many old fashions in the morning for breakfast.
Well, this is why
with his shark.
With my shark. That's why I'm going to wear my shark costume.
It protects you.
It does protect me. But yeah, so that was one of the that one kind of creeped me out a little bit. Yeah. So
I mean, that would creep anybody out.
Right. But it's sold now, so we're good.
And the old person used to listen or used to that.
Well, the person the person had passed away, and they were not in the house. So
But that was
well, maybe, yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. Maybe it's
you don't ask questions.
Wow.
Like, I will ask more questions, right?
I was too freaked out to ask them more.
That is an interesting question.
But it could be, yeah. So maybe it's just someone, the person passed away, just kind of saying like, I'm,
I want you to sell my
I want you to sell my house. Make sure it's multiple offer. I don't know.
I mean, so there's one house I went to before, and this I guess is I don't know if it segues into our next question, but like one foreclosure I've seen that was, I guess the house was vacant at the time we went in, but there were like stains. There were like damp stains on the carpeting in the bedroom. Okay. And what I heard was that it was being sold by the state because this person died in their home and didn't have anybody next of kin to assume the property.
Yeah.
And it was apparently months before they discovered that they were dead inside. So I don't know where those stains were from. Obviously, my clients didn't put a bid into the property, but don't know where the stains were from. Don't know if it was from a decomposing body, but that's what we suspected.
Oh, man.
But yeah, it was cleaned out by the time we got in, but there were stains in the carpet. And when we heard the story, it was like, no.
That's actually maybe not that long.
It's a condo,
but
by the way,
people
but
passing away in homes is pretty common. So our neighbor too, I mean, he was probably, I don't know, late 70s, early 80s. This a couple of years ago, and he was by himself. The kids kind of check in like once a week just to, hey, how are you doing, kind of thing. And apparently he died in the house, and he was there for 5 days.
Oh my God.
And Asian people bought that house too. And typically, like, we don't obviously advertise on a listing person died in a house, but a lot of times the Asian
you
buyer,
have to disclose.
You have to disclose
if
if
you're
they
asked, if you're asked, for sure.
And a lot of times Asian buyers will ask. So and those Asian buyers that bought that house, so either they don't care or they didn't ask.
It depends. What I'm finding is most of the time, if they die peacefully, and it's natural causes, is not so bad. But if it's violent or if it's something that's unforeseen, then they get the heebie-jeebies when it comes to executing on a house like that. So
well, if you think about it, like Vancouver,
long history.
There's a lot of houses are from the early 1900s or 1930s, 1940s, 1950s. Probably at some point somebody has passed away, and you just don't know because it's like it's been passed over so many times.
And what if the house is haunted? Like
that was the next question. So,
the house is haunted. I mean, okay. So I've had some situations where I've gone into places and I've definitely got like a weird vibe for sure. And so I sometimes will just say to them, maybe it's just me, but I got a weird vibe, and kind of one of those feelings from it. But of course, it's up to the buyers. But I feel like it's one of those things. We're not buying the place, but sometimes if I feel something like that, I feel like I should tell them. But it's maybe it would never bother them. But I've got a couple places you go, you just go into a certain place, and you just get that kind of vibe. Like probably with you today when we're wearing a shark costume and he's dressed up as a minion, you probably got a weird vibe.
Yeah,
but
very weird,
right? You're like, I'm creeped out. But so that kind of stuff. I've had a couple of situations where I'm like, I just get like a weird kind of uncomfortable vibe here, and then I just kind of mention it to them. I don't obviously get into more detail, but I've had that happen before.
I've never walked into a haunted house before. None.
But if it's haunted, you have like
It's a stigma, I guess. So it's
But
like,
people will stop.
There's nothing on the disclosure statement that asks us to declare whether or not your house is haunted, and
Right.
and a lot of people would suggest that it is subjective, right? We don't. What you might be feeling something, like Ryan might be feeling something, but who knows what he's actually feeling, right?
Right.
Maybe he's really in tune with the spirits, or maybe he's just bat-ass crazy, right?
It could be. It's 100%. It's a combination for sure.
But like there was a very famous house in high school. They talked about this, like obviously when you're sitting around the campfire. But there's a very, very famous house on Cambie.
Oh yeah, I know which one. Yeah.
Yeah, that house. Well, now it's condos, right? But then for the longest time, apparently that house was for sale and couldn't sell because it was haunted. And anybody that moved into the house experienced paranormal things.
Like bags packed up, I
So,
heard.
yeah. So then what the story I heard was the realtor that was trying to sell the place was obviously having trouble selling the place. But in one instance, he sold the place, or so he showed the place and then decided to take a nap on the couch. Okay. And this is the story. I don't know any realtors that take naps on their clients' couches, right? But he decided to take a nap on the couch because he had like a couple hours in between showings at this place. And he woke up on the lawn, on the couch still, but the couch and him was moved out on the lawn. Dude. That's what that was the story we were told, right?
That's crazy. I've heard that too. I've heard a couple of people say that, yeah, or people bags or tried to buy or whatever, their bags were packed up by the front door. I mean, at that point, you just cut your losses. You know?
Take a hit.
Take a hit. I'm like, I'm out, man. Like, there's no way I'm staying here. I don't care. Like, you know, it's just whatever. Fire sale, that sucker. Multiplex, condo. Yeah, it's condos now.
It's a condo now.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think, and it's interesting. I wonder if people that bought that, obviously the builder didn't put that in their brochure either, right? So I wonder.
Well, eventually, before it became a condo, and I drove by it a couple of times too, and they did have a lot of like, I guess like religious artifacts out front as well. Because I think what ended up was when Buddhist monks moved in. And they kind of turned it into a makeshift temple, a home temple. So then that's how they dealt with it. But again, this is all hearsay. There's no way I can confirm this, especially now that it's a condo. So
yeah.
But you know what? Going to that, I have a friend that she moved to a condo, rented, I think. And then she said that her daughter didn't want her to sleep in her bedroom.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And because she hears things and everything, and she believes in all these things, so she brought a medium, and the medium said like it's because this land was a cemetery before, so like from like the First Nations or something like that. So that's what it is.
Wow.
So, and then she moved like because the daughter really didn't want to sleep in the. Like,
did they buy it or was it rented?
It was rented,
Oh,
so
thank
she
God.
like said like no, let's go. Like the daughter was crying and crying and crying every time that she went to that bedroom, in particular. So.
Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of, well, I shouldn't say a lot, but there's definitely projects that are built on like old cemeteries. Like in New West, there's I don't know, I think Victoria Hill is over Old Cemetery, and there's some parts in New West on. I'm trying to think the sub area, but it used to be an old prison though. That's it's built over top of that, right? So there's a couple of things there that, and it's not like widely advertised either, but that's the case. So.
Why would you advertise?
Yeah, why'd you? Dead prisoners.
Or hospitals.
Hospitals, right? Yeah. You don't put that in listing comments, right?
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I mean, and that's going to happen more now too, right? With all these new developments and stuff going over older houses, you know, it's just, that's going to be the case. So
Yeah.
You got to, in your budget for a medium
developers should definitely budget for a medium, right? Budget for a medium, a feng shui master, everything, right?
Yeah.
Everything you can throw at it just to make sure that the land is no longer on.
But basically, you can know
ground.
what happened with the buyer before you, the owner before you, right? But there is no way. For example, my house is 1995. There is no way I can know about like
Not
the first home.
Yeah, you wouldn't know everything. I mean, obviously the big stuff we can check, right? To see if it was like a grow op or, you know, something to that effect. If it was actually like murder, you could probably Google that. But I mean,
even then, sometimes
So
there was I guess a website that was showing houses that have a stigmatic history on it, so to speak.
Really? Wow.
But I mean, it's not complete.
Yeah,
it was, I guess, whoever would put it in, and it depends on user input, and not very reliable. So there's no, I haven't found any super reliable sources for something like that. But
yeah,
you know,
and I feel that stuff too. It's like, how do you verify it? It's like, I'm gonna put Wayne's
Well,
address.
maybe only if it's murder or like somebody died.
Yeah, like a murder, and they're
Haunted,
then maybe
might be haunted for you, but for me, maybe I don't believe
Exactly.
in those things.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
that's interesting. Very interesting. General stuff. What's happening with you? You got some stuff going on with your events.
Oh yeah, I have my event tonight.
Nice.
So it's a group of women, really. Like we're trying to make it Latin because I think and I believe Latin women need a lot of guidance. And it's not again that they don't speak English, but sometimes it's better to express it in your own language. And we're not only talking about real estate or financing. Today we have a girl that is talking about metabolism. I'm not saying
About
that
what?
properly.
Metabolism?
Oh,
And
that makes
during menopause.
okay.
So, which is very important, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
That's an interesting
that's
topic.
interesting.
And then we have another lady that does Reiki.
That's one.
And Reiki, like yoga, like Reiki.
Oh, reggae. Yeah.
No.
No,
not
reggae,
reggae.
Reiki.
Reiki.
It's a different thing.
Yeah.
Like reggae's like
Reggae?
reggae.
No,
Like,
reggae's a dance.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Reggae's like yoga. It's like
oh, I thought. Okay. Yeah. I'm with you. Keep going. Like reggae, like Bob
Close,
Marley. Yeah.
close.
Okay. What's it called? Reiki.
Reiki.
Reiki. I've never heard that before.
I've heard of it. I don't really know.
Is
too
that
much
like
about it, but
you rake and then do?
So
downward
basically, it's
dog?
like a therapy. No, it's like a therapy.
Quit
You
while
lay
you're
down,
behind, right?
and they align all your chakras and all your.
Oh, okay. Chakra.
So she does that. She does yoga. She does oh, okay, whatever. But it's
Chakra,
like
the chakra.
things like that. And then the next one, we're trying to have an accountant
Oh, that'd be
because
good. Yeah.
people has to know, right? So it's not only about real estate and financing. It's about a lot of things. We're gonna have another girl that is a therapist.
Nice.
So to promote themselves also.
Yeah.
It's free. It's a free event. It's in. We're doing it in the RBC building in Brentwood
Oh, nice. Okay,
because
okay.
my friend works with Mary.
Oh, Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
who's been
So-
on our podcast.
Yeah.
Yes. Shout out to
So-
Mary.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to Diana too, who's in Cabo
Yeah.
visiting family. We
Yeah.
didn't mention that at the
Oh,
beginning.
yeah.
Of the podcast.
Couldn't be here.
Yes.
Hope you're enjoying your margarita.
She's wearing her
Yeah.
costume though, I'm sure.
I'm sure she is.
But
By the pool.
this event that you host, like, so is it like a TED Talks for Latin women? Is that like they go up and
Kind
stand
of.
up and talk
Yeah,
for
they
15
go
minutes?
on and then they talk about what they do,
Yeah.
and hopefully it helps another
Ah,
person, right?
Nice.
So it's free. It's always in the same place. Maybe one day we will do it at
Yeah.
our office.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
And it's just to help promote and to help guide Latin women, right? Because
Awesome.
it's in Spanish.
yeah.
Nice.
So-
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise, I guess kind of general market, like it has been slower for us, for our whole team the last couple of months. I think a lot of it has been rate driven, and now that we've dropped a half a point yesterday,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Hopefully that will pick up. So we should get more action now with our listings and stuff. And I know a lot of the buyers that were on the sidelines were kind of waiting to see what was happening. So hopefully that will pick up the market a bit.
I mean, it's expected that more rate drops are coming as well. So
Right.
yeah, we'll see what tomorrow will bring. But a lot of people think that this half point drop will really stimulate the market, but we'll have to see, right? So
Yeah, totally.
I can't complain. I'm doing good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're busy.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
busy.
there you go. There you go. Anything else you guys wanted to touch on?
that's it for now.
All right, we have another guest coming on soon, so I'm going to get out of my
So-
costume.
So Veronica out.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween! Yeah,
Happy Halloween.
Be safe out there if you're going
Yeah.
out trick or treating. I'm going to stay home and hand out candy
Yeah. Go ahead.
with my shark costume.
No, take it off.
All right, that's
All
it.
right.
Bye,
Okay.
everybody.
Bye.